Hi guys, welcome back. We're here with Cameron and Cass from Apex Physical Therapy, and they're going to show us some relieving stretches for that lower body pain. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Oh, thanks for coming in. We'd love to see it. So that lower extremity pain is common with overuse injuries such as shin splints, tendonitis, and bursitis. Is that correct?
That's right.
So if people who don't know tendonitis and bursitis, what is that?
Those are inflammatory issues of the soft tissue of either the tendon or the bursa, and they usually are a result of either a big change in your training regimen, exercise regimen, or activity, or a sustained amount of activity that leads to this breakdown or this inflammatory response.
Yeah. All right, great. So I know physical therapy can help with that body pain. So can you share us some tips that you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a couple of the biggest things, and right now I think there's a lot of people that are getting back into the gym, right? The New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
There's also people training for some runs and marathons this summer.
Sure, yeah.
So some of our biggest tips as therapists for trying to manage this is making sure that you properly warm up your body for what you're going to do. We talk about an active warm up and a good cool down. So we're going to just demonstrate what an active, good warm up would be.
Perfect.
And the biggest goal for these repetitive stresses, you want that body and tissue as warm as possible. So getting your heart rate up, getting elevated. So I like to do like moving and stretching at the same time. So Cass, you want to do like a walking lunge?
Yep.
So this would be a really good one for getting your lower body warmed up.
Perfect.
You're getting your hip flexors stretched out. Okay? Cass, come back. Let's do like a high knee. So this one here, we're getting the hips warmed up, we're getting the calves activated, we're getting everything going. So we want to get the muscle contracting and lengthening and get that sweat going. That's probably the first big tip.
Yeah.
Another good tip is just making sure that you're cognizant and aware of your schedule, right? Are you giving recovery? Are you allowing your body to recover from the activity that you're doing that is either starting to poke away and give you those symptoms, or that is an activity that is the contributing factor to the overuse.
Okay, for sure. So I know that some people, when they think of stretching, they're just like, oh, I don't have time for that after, or like I'm tired after a workout and everything. So how long do you recommend someone to stretch for?
It's a really good question, and it depends on a lot of things, how much time you have, obviously, but I think a good cool down stretch is anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. It's not a huge thing. Another thing that is really nice that you can do beyond just stretching, like traditional stretching, would be doing some self-care stuff like using a foam roller. Cass, you want to demonstrate what that would look like for like the calf or the hamstring? So not everybody likes stretching, but we all like massage. This is a nice way to, again, cool down, loosen up that muscle that's starting to get overused, that might be pulling on the tendon. Another one, there's a lot of really cool things out there like massage balls.
What those were for.
Yeah,
okay,
I wasn't going to juggle today. These are another good way to get into the muscle, get into that tissue that's starting to get irritated, loosening it up, another great cool down.
Yeah. Amazing. I love that. Okay, so then with the massages that we're getting into is what is dry needling demonstration?
Yep. So, you know, we in a perfect world, nobody would ever need to come into PT for this, right? You do all these tips that we say and it works out, but we know that that's not reality.
Sure.
If you're having persisting problems, coming to a therapist is really crucial because we can identify the source of the problem. We can also do specialized techniques like dry needling to work at that tissue in ways that you can't work on it at yourself. So Cass was really getting into the muscle belly and trying to loosen it up. Dry needling is another skilled technique that we can do to get into those trigger points that are causing that muscle to be problematic and pull on those tendons and bursas.
Okay, very cool. I've never seen anything like that. So do you guys do that often?
We do. It's one of our main treatments that we utilize in orthopedic medicine now and physical therapy.
All of our therapists are trained in it
absolutely.
now, so we found it so beneficial.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are focusing on the legs, and I know one of the common injury is an Achilles tendon injury. So can you share some tips with us on avoiding that kind of injury?
Well, some of the tips are similar to what we talked about. You start recognizing that that thing is becoming a reoccurring problem, and that happens with athletes, that happens with us that are kind of the weekend warriors. It happens if you have a change again in a job or an activity that's putting a lot of stress or load on it. The biggest thing is length and strength. We want to make sure that we're keeping that loose, which is your calf stretches, right? And you can Google those. You can find a million different calf stretches out there, but making sure that you have good length there. But I think the bigger part that a lot of people miss is making sure that you're doing effective strengthening and contracting of that.
Okay.
Those would be some really key things. And the other thing is you start feeling that and it's persisting and you've had it for longer than 2 to 4 weeks. It's no longer an acute inflammation issue. We're starting to creep into that point where it's not healing on its own, and that's when I would seek out treatment.
Yeah.
Because long-term chronic tendonitis can lead to worse injuries, especially for the Achilles.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. All right, so where can people find you guys?
They can find us on the web. You want to go for it?
Sure. Yeah. We're at www.apexptwellness.com, and we have 4 different locations: West Fargo, South Fargo, Lemoore, and Jamestown.
All right, great. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. I know that there's many more techniques that we weren't able to go through right now. So make sure that you guys are staying healthy, mind and body connection right there when they're talking about with stretching. So thank you guys so much.
Thanks.
Coming up on today's show, we are going to have Billy on for Make-A-Wish, and they're going to tell us all about their flight program.